Started. Hi, everyone.
Good
Oh,
morning.
morning. I'm excited to be here, and I love that everyone is just popping on. It's so exciting. All right. Well, I'm going to give it just a little bit for everyone to kind of, pop in and everything, and and to take a quick breath. I had some coffee this morning, and I think that my husband changed out the coffee type, and so I'm a little jittery too, and I'm like, it's fine, it's all good. But then I'm like, okay, over 250 people wanted to be here today. It could be not just the coffee. All right. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to do something real quick. Okay, great. I needed some water. Thank you. All right. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Corey Perez, and I am a real estate broker in Washington State in Central Washington. And I'm also a real estate coach, but just because I'm a real estate coach does not mean that I'm here to sell you something or any of that. Okay, so don't fear. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about who I am and kind of why I do things the way I do, because I think that a lot of people who are on the call or who are popping on are probably going to identify in at least some way with why I do things the way I do. And so I just want you to know that you're not alone if you are like me. Okay. So basically, I got started in real estate in 2002, and my broker really just kind of threw cold calling on me, and I didn't think that that's what real estate was all about. And so it kind of surprised me a bit. And then it took me some trial and error, some different things to kind of get to a place where I felt comfortable with I guess essentially being myself, and realizing that it was okay to not do cold calling and door knocking when everyone else was telling me that's what I needed to be doing. And so basically I kind of in 2005, I attended a conference, and this coach was telling me all about how, he did things different and all of these things. And I was kind of like, oh, it is okay to not do these things. And it really kind of just gave me that permission to do things my own way. So I had a stalker, and when I got started in real estate, I was really nervous to put myself out there. I was really nervous to put my phone number out there, to do all of the things that we do to get business. And it took me a lot of years, like actually probably until this year, to really realize that that I'm okay. And I actually have been holding myself back for a long time because of all of these thoughts and, all of the stuff that kind of went along with having a stalker. I was kind of holding myself hostage a bit. Well, in real estate, obviously you have to be present, right? And you have to be putting yourself out there. And I just really wanted to do things a different way. So I started doing reverse prospecting, which really to me means kind of it's another way of saying attraction marketing. To me, it is kind of the opposite of what everyone else is doing, in my opinion. It feels like giving value and helping people and that sort of thing, instead of chasing people down and keeping them feeling kind of like you're trying to sell them something, right? Not to say that we're not trying to sell them something, but it's just a different vibe. It's a different feel. So what I did is basically I started giving value. I started just giving education and doing different things to basically attract people to me. Well, this last weekend, I I got invited to do a street fair. And I'm not going to lie, at first I was so excited. And then I realized like I have nothing to sell. Normally, anytime I've done a street fair, it's like I'm selling Scentsy or Pampered Chef or some sort of product, you know, and so people come into the booth because they want to buy something. And so it kind of hit me and I was like, holy moly, what am I going to do to make people want to talk to me? Because, you know, a lot of times people see us as just salespeople, right? And they kind of like shy away from us, that sort of thing. Well, I really got into my head and kind of put myself in this position of like, oh, shoot, what am I going to do? And all this stuff. And I got kind of worked up. And then I realized I just needed to slow down and kind of think about what it was I was doing here. And essentially, I decided that I wanted to bring people in. So I decided to do a gift basket. And when I offered the gift basket, like I went back to my Scentsy days, right? And I'm going, okay, in Scentsy, like I would do like a little kind of raffle thing, you know, and then everyone would put their information, but it wasn't necessarily like there was no opt out, right? Like it was not a safe place necessarily. Like people would leave blanks and all of that because they felt like they were going to try and be sold something basically. And so I sat here getting ready for this street fair, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a procrastinator, so I waited until like Wednesday, and the event was on Saturday. And basically I sat there and I was just questioning myself, going through, okay, who am I trying to attract? What information do I want to give out? What am I going to do to get them to talk to me? And so that's when I decided I would do a gift basket drawing. So basically I you know, got together with a couple of wineries and they donated some bottles of wine, and that was perfect. And anyway, so I kind of just thought about it a little bit and I created this form, and it was nothing super crazy or anything like that, but it basically gave everyone, you know, it had name and phone number, and it had some information that I was giving out. Like, you know, I said, I wish I would have thought to bring the form with me today, but anyway, it basically had some different options. It said about, you know, if you would like information on buying a home or selling a home or foreclosures or off-market properties, you know, those kinds of things. I offered a first-time home buyer cheat sheet, and basically it just was kind of a way to get people to self-identify as leads. Now, I also, the one thing I realized was that I did not want to be calling every single person, because for me, I'm not one to like bother people, I guess, or feel like I'm bothering people if they don't want the information, right? And so I did another box and it basically said, I'm just here for the gift basket. So those people, you know, are just automatically off the list, right? Like they're not going to get anything. They're just good. And I told them up front that you're only going to be contacted if you win or if you request information. And it wasn't like a huge turnout. This was a first annual type of event. So it wasn't like a big thing, but we ended up with 53 or 54, I don't remember, 53 people who ended up like filling out the questionnaire. And I did it with a QR code. So everyone could scan it from their phone and then enter in their data just from their phone. And people were really like, kind of excited because it was wine, first of all, but then, they were kind of, some of them were a little like leery, and kind of just like, okay, I don't know. And then a husband would be like, well, I'm signing up, or, the wife would be the same way. And I thought it was great. So anyway, out of 53 people, I had 17 who self-identified as people who were interested in buying, 16 were buying, and one was interested in selling. And it was, I didn't take out the people who said, no, I'm just here for the gift basket. When I did the giveaway, I left everyone in, and it was really exciting to be able to talk to those people afterwards and start to kind of deliver that information and start to have conversations, because these people are people who wanted to talk to me. They're people who wanted information. It wasn't me pushing anything on anyone. And so that's kind of how I do things, is I give everyone the option. I open myself up. I will offer information. I will offer classes. I will offer, Q&A sessions. I'll do different things, and people come in because they want that information. And when they come to me first, it kind of creates a different feeling. It's a different like loyalty. It's a different thing because they see me as a person they chose, right? Like they didn't have to choose to watch my Zoom. They didn't have to choose to participate in a Q&A, but they feel like they made that choice, not me like chasing them, that sort of thing. So one of the other things that I like to do is really kind of, I guess, in reverse prospecting, basically, I like to just be authentic, I guess, be organic. Like I don't do ads. I just don't do those things because, well, first, I feel like if I'm going to do an ad, I need to have something that's working organically first. And maybe that's because I'm cheap. I'm not going to lie, guys, I'm cheap. I'm kind of a DIY person. I do everything myself, that sort of thing. It's just who I am, because I've had to figure everything out over the years on my own. So anyway, let me go into the chat real quick. Absolutely, I can share that. I'll send out, so it was asked in the chat if I can share the form, and I will definitely, I'll send you guys a link to that if that's okay with you. I'll send it just with the replay of this. So I know that I kind of talked and went on a little bit there, but I would absolutely love to hear any questions. And I know it'll jog my memory some too, because I did just do a Zoom about reverse prospecting. So I don't want to cover everything that I, have previously talked about, unless of course you guys have questions and are, wanting to know more. So feel free to unmute if you have a question and you can ask. And I will do basically everything in my power to help kind of guide you that direction if it's something that you're interested in, kind of changing how you look at things. That's really what I feel like I had to do. Sorry, reading a comment here. I was just wondering why no one really talks about having a table at a fair. I don't know that word after crochet.
Amigurumi. It's like little cute animals and crochet and stuff.
Okay. I love having I love having people come to me, honestly, like, how so many people say, talk to your sphere and all of this. For me, I am one who, honestly, most of the time I would rather talk to strangers than talk to the people that I know, just because it feels like so many times they want something for free or that sort of thing, when it's family especially. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I want to talk to people who want to talk to me and value me and that sort of thing, which sounds kind of funny, I guess, but that's how I feel. All right, Carol, what do you have for me?
Hi,
Hi
thanks so
there.
much for letting us sharing your knowledge with us. We really appreciate it. So I'm curious on how you set up your booth at your fair. I find I was just at a local place and I saw a real estate agent that I know, and she was literally like table in front, and she was sitting down, sitting down and not really making eye contact, not really being inviting. She was just crocheting.
Okay. Well, for me, I did have the table up front. Honestly, it was super simple because like I said, I procrastinated. It was Wednesday before I started going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And so basically on Wednesday, that's when I sat my kids down and I'm like, okay, you guys got to help me figure this out. Like all the things. Anyway, so I had the table out front. I just had like a little vase of flowers on one side, the QR code in the center, and the gift basket on the other side. It was super simple. Like, I mean, it looked like I planned it that day, basically. I'm not gonna lie. So I considered, having, because we are in wine country, that sort of thing, because my company name is like YV Wine Country Properties, like it is wine country. I considered setting up, like, and having grapes and vines and all this stuff. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't want to look like a winery, right? Like, I'm not trying to give off the vibe that I'm a winery. So I was like, okay, what do I do? And I just decided simple was best because I was stressing out. Is that helpful? Okay, good. Thank you. All right, Sally, what do you have?
That's
Oh, there you go.
Hi, Corey. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
That's good. I'm over here in sunny Arizona.
Love it.
Fun. Where are you?
I'm up in Washington State.
Oh, that's what you did say previously. Well, I have a quick question. I do a lot of open houses and I set up that kind of similar booth. What would you suggest about that? Like, what would I get, I do that every weekend and stuff. That's something just to add. Is that the same objective of like just trying to gather a bunch of emails and putting them into your pipeline and dripping on them?
It honestly, for me, I really, and I don't know, I don't know about you guys, but maybe I'm allergic to salespeople. It could be that, I don't know. Like, I feel like when I am out even doing an open house, if someone doesn't want to be talking to me, like, I'm kind of like, that's okay, but
Right,
the way that I
okay.
would probably handle it is I would probably do something very similar after doing this event.
Right.
I
So
would
it's the
set
same
up
thing.
a QR code, like, here, scan, sign in, that sort of thing, and
Right.
give them their options. Like, are you interested? Are you working with a realtor? Who is your realtor? Stuff like that, so that it's very clear, and I normally have just a sign-in sheet there, but they just, like, people are very evasive,
Right.
and I feel
Yeah.
like if you kind of give them their options and say,
Yeah.
hey, like, maybe one of the options is just basically, I'm just here to be nosy or whatever.
Right. Okay.
I mean, you can kind of weed out the people who would rather not be notified,
Oh, okay.
and basically, I mean, maybe it's not the best option, right? Like, I mean, everyone teaches, like, you want to add to your pipeline, that sort of thing,
Right. Yes.
but for me, it's not about that. It's about
Okay.
talking to people who actually want to talk to me or want the information.
Nice.
I'm not
Okay.
trying to talk to everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hi, Jose. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. I'm in Los Angeles, everyone. Going back to the open house, there's two things I normally do a little different. Old school people like to sign in sheet, right? New people like to use their QR code. So
Right.
that's the two things I kind of offer when I host an open house. Regarding the fair, I found another brokerage in my area here. What they do, they actually have a clown, kind of like the McDonald's type of thing. Ronald McDonald have a clown, and that attract a lot of kids, right?
Right.
So that's how they attract, with clowns and balloons, people because of the kids.
Right.
But
That
my
makes
question was to you, because I wasn't at the other parent meeting. I'm trying to do, we talked about it last week, a direct, because I have 3 buyers that I'm working with, and I'm trying to find those sellers. So I'm trying to figure out a quick, nice, easy touch on what to say to approach these sellers.
Well, one of the things that I did, and I don't remember, I think we talked about it a little bit when you and I talked last week, but what I have been doing that has kind of blown my mind a little bit. I started advertising my buyers, and I started doing that in a way that was kind of like advertising a house, but the opposite, right? So it was more of, instead of selling a house, I was selling my buyer, like here,
Right.
my buyer's looking for, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this price range, but we could go up some, that sort of thing. And I shared it in some local community groups. And basically it attracted the one that I was most excited about, attracted 9 different sellers. And that was kind of like this is, I'm not thinking wrong, right? Like it works. And so it was kind of proof of concept, I guess, right? And so basically I belong to a lot of Facebook groups. I do a lot of my business in Facebook. Honestly, most of my business, except for referrals, comes out of Facebook. And a lot of my referrals come because of people seeing me on Facebook. So I belong to a lot of groups. I have different groups that I run, and, not all of them are created equal. Sometimes I'll go into buy, sell, trade groups. Sometimes it's an actual community group, that sort of thing. But I'm always trying to come from kind of an authentic place of asking for help, as opposed to really trying to sell something,
Right.
And I had one person who, like, in the post that attracted the 9 sellers, I had one person who was like, since the city or the town is doing your job for you, are we going to get some of your ridiculously high fee? And I was like, oh crap. Like I thought about deleting the post. I was just like, okay, in my head, I was going, this is going bad. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to delete the post. I didn't. And I had a couple of realtors kind of come in and talk about, all the fees we pay and how we're paid and how we pay taxes and all this stuff. But I kind of kept it really simple in my response to that person. And I was just I asked them a question basically. And I just said to them, like, do you think that I'm not doing what's in my buyer's best interest by asking for help? And by doing that, I actually got DMs from other people who were like, okay, Corey, I want to talk to you, but I didn't want to talk to you like in the post, basically.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
and that was really cool because it attracted more people.
Great. Thank you so much for that info. Appreciate you.
You're
Again,
welcome.
last week was a great energy with you and I. So thank you again. Appreciate
I
you.
love it. Thank you. I look forward to talking more, Jose. All right. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Karuna, is that right? Okay. How can I help you? What
You got
questions?
it. Yeah, I love the idea. I think it's definitely well suited to me. I always say I'm so much better when I can be in front of someone and just like have a genuine connection rather than trying to hunt people down when they don't want to be bothered. So I was just curious, like, is this something you've done consistently? Like, do you have a certain number of events you try to do a year?
This
And how you find them and set it up kind of thing?
Okay, so this was the first event I had done like this for real estate. Honestly, my anxiety and my PTSD, like from having the stalker, like really kind of kept me playing small for a long time. And so recently I have started kind of realizing that I've been holding myself back, and it kind of just came about that I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. One of my agents in my office suggested it, and we set up the booth and, just went for it. I I have to tell you, it's not easy for me sometimes. And this is why it's so important to kind of have the people come to me, because of my issues, because of the things I've been through, I just can't, I don't deal well with rejection, right? Like, I am not the person who is going to go dial 100 people and hope for the no's, because that will break my heart. And so I just, I really kind of just try to do things differently because of who I am.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm here and talking to everyone too, because I know that not everyone is built for cold calling. Not everyone is built for door knocking and chasing people and that sort of thing. And it feels to me like that is, and maybe I'm wrong, but it feels to me like that's what most of our brokers tell us to do, right? Like
A lot of
sphere
them,
of
especially
influence.
the male dominated
It-
coaching.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think I'd love to chat with you more. You definitely feel like my like my approach. My background is psychotherapy. I was a therapist, and then had years of illness and then got into real estate. So I definitely like to come from a more genuine, like, connection first place. So that's great. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I have to say, like, it took me a really long time to even get to a place where I was comfortable sharing, because I was so scared in my own little world, that it was kind of like a cage. I had put myself in a cage and I was hiding from the world for a while, and so now it feels so freeing. And honestly, it took me a while to get the confidence, I guess, to be able to say, like, no, I'm here to help. And, I want to help people. And I have coaches who tell me, you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that. And, they tell you all these things, but then it's like, that doesn't align with who I am. It's not what I feel I can do. And so it's very important for me to, uh, Carol, you are excited about something and I love it. Sorry guys. Okay. Anyway, so I don't know. It truly comes from a place of just being so stuck for so long and realizing that I just had to do things differently. And then sharing it became such an important thing for me, because especially during COVID, I realized how many people were like me and how many people were kind of stuck and not sure what to do. And so anyway, so here I am. Mari, I would love to hear from you. Oh,
Okay. Yes. Hi. I'm sorry I'm not showing my face. I have to run like in
Oh,
like
no.
5 minutes.
okay, no worries.
So first of all, I just want to say, Corey, you are from such a wonderful place of giving and helping agents, and I love it. It is so refreshing,
Thank
and I just think it's great. So I just wanted to give you that acclimate at that little praise right from the get-go. But I had heard Corey on another podcast from from a coach that I follow. And I tried this once, 1 week, and I had gotten 2 bites right away. And I just wanted to say, I met with the seller who would also be a buyer, and I met with the second one was a seller. And it went really good. But one thing is the seller who wants to also be a buyer, she was impressed because of the fact that I was proactive for my people.
Mhm.
So, I kind of asked her a little bit about her relationship with her other realtor, because she just bought her house a couple years ago, but she bought it too big because she was kind of getting a divorce and she needed to spend the money. But anyway, she just kind of gave me some insight that this gentleman doesn't really do anything for her. And I just wanted to say that was one point that she really stood out to her, is that I was being proactive for my buyers. So I wanted to share that. Now, the other thing that, and my question's coming, the other one is a seller. She had already moved. She was just keeping this house because her brother was in the basement, or brother-in-law. Anyway, she's going to be selling it. And she allowed me to come in to see it and this and that. And I hadn't planned on really discussing commission at all that day, because I need to prepare myself for that a little bit.
Right. I feel
And
that.
yeah, so she kind of started talking about it, because I was talking about her realtor. She already has a relationship with the realtor. She was just allowing me to come in for my buyers, which is fine. And I kind of hinted a little bit about the commission, and in her mind, she wants my buyer to pay the commission. Well, we're not going to do that, but I didn't really address it because that really wasn't my purpose to be there that day. So I say all that because I am going through my buyers and asking them about the house, and one of them is interested. But before I get them in there, I need to call this lady back and talk about the commission. And this is where I am weak with negotiation. And I kind of feel like if I am going to bring the buyer and they want to buy the house, she's selling the house as is to my buyers. And it's saving her from having to kind of put some things back together. But I think it would be fair to ask her for a 3.5% commission, 2.5% being my split, and then 1% would be for the transaction. Now, I just wanted to get your feedback on that.
Well, the first thing I have to say is I don't want to do too much talking about like an actual commission amount, because we're not supposed to really do
Okay,
that.
we could do that. Yeah, privately, that's fine.
So basically what I would say is, what I've been doing lately is, and with all the lawsuits and all the things, is I've really been trying to use the buyer brokerage agreement and kind of work that in. But then also I don't have a problem going to a seller and asking them to pay the commission, so I would say go in and say, I'm bringing you a buyer and I would love to be paid for that, essentially. I mean, just be really straight up and just, here are the services that I'm offering. This is what I'm going to do. You as a for sale by owner, you may not know everything that you don't know. And I know that I'm going to be supplying you with disclosures or, all of the things that you're going to need in order to sell your property to my buyers. And for that, I feel this is the rate that would work for me.
Okay. No, I agree. I mean, when I got home and started doing the math, even if she sells it as is, I'm saving her the time and the energy to put into the house. Yes, she could get more money for it, but she already disclosed to me that she was going to be paying the other agent 5%.
Gotcha.
So she's still saving money. So
Right.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
But I just wanted to encourage everybody that it works.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
All right, guys, I see that there's a lot going on in the chat that I have not been looking at. So if anyone has anything else, go ahead and unmute and let's talk. And I'm going to scroll through the chat real quick.
So I have a question.
Okay.
I have no idea how you do a QR code.
Well, let me tell you, until this weekend, I had only played around with QR codes, and I had signed up for one that was like, I don't know, you could apparently got it only for 7 days and then you had to pay. So I didn't go that route the second time. But basically I Googled free QR code generators and I found a couple, oops, hold on 1 second. My Zoom disappeared.
Canva is another good one.
Oh, do they have one in there?
Yeah, and there's
Yeah,
a
they do.
it's a free app, but if you pay $9.99 a month, I do everything on there. It also has an AI assistant that you can use.
I love Canva. It's one of the biggest tools in my business, but I honestly, when I was trying to figure it out, I saw that they had that, but I thought that it was a paid service, so I didn't go through it that way. Oh, Bitly has QR codes as well. Oh, goodness. Okay. So
Or
there's a lot of places. Oh, sorry. Go
Or-
ahead. Yes.
Canva is free for some designs,
Okay.
and for some others, very specialized ones, they charge.
Yes.
So you can pretty much do, if you want to be free, you can do quite a bit in there yourself, or even build your own stuff if you're confident of doing that.
And yeah, and that's that. I love Canva. So anyone on here who doesn't have Canva, like play around with it, use the free version and play with it. I do have the paid version, but honestly, like I felt overwhelmed a little bit.
Can I answer a question from Mari?
Absolutely.
She was giving the scenario, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Like before you take your buyer to a seller who is a prospective seller and you have a bona fide buyer, you should have even just a day listing with the seller before you bring your buyer into that house. Very frequently, they themselves start engaging and you would be out of this transaction before you know it.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So always protect yourself. There are forms and stuff. I'm sure you'll find them online, but I've been a FSBO seller while I was a realtor, and many realtors were bringing in, one day listing for me to sign. And it's all right. If they bring a buyer, you obviously, I'm a realtor, so I understand that I want to pay them commission, but beware of sellers who don't want to. So they will very cleanly take you out of the transaction. So do get a listing signed, even if it's a day listing, and write your buyer's name in there so that you can go after them if they don't pay you commission.
I love that suggestion. That is great because, I had I had one listing, like a whole listing. It was on the MLS and everything, and I brought a buyer, and I mean, it was obviously a different situation, but I brought the buyer, and my people, they were like, had a low appraisal, and they were like, okay, we're not selling anymore, this, that, and the other, which was fine. Their choice, right? But then as soon as the listing expired, they went and tried to sell to those people. And I was like, it was a family member, of course. And so I went directly to them and I said, by the way, I just want to be sure you realize that if you sell to these people, you will still owe me a commission. And of course, it kind of, they thought I was a little too upfront, I guess. And so we haven't talked very much since then, but I was protecting myself. And I feel like that is, this is business. So Carol.
Right. Thank you. Changing subjects.
No worries.
Back to, my apologies.
No
I was
worries.
just curious, when you share the link,
Mhm.
will it show the exact questions that you asked your clientele?
Yes, for that. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just literally sharing the link to the Google form with you guys so you guys can see it. So, when I send it out, it'll be in the email that has the replay and everything. And basically just, you can, I don't care what you do with the information. It's a super simple form. So, don't judge me, right?
All good, all good. Thank you
right.
so much. I appreciate it.
Of course, you're welcome. All right, guys, who else has a question or anything that you would like me to talk about? And I'm going to go
Well,
back.
when you send the, okay.
Oh, no
When-
worries. Go ahead.
When you send the form, can you also include maybe your first time home buyer? I mean, I don't even know what you mean by first time home buyer cheat sheet. It must be something that, I mean, just information for them and then like what you give information on buy, just your examples of the buying, selling off market, first time.
Well,
cheat sheet.
and basically each of those things really, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I put the cheat sheet and then I was like, holy crap, now I have to create a cheat sheet. Like I did not have that prepared beforehand. And so I was like, okay, I didn't know how this was going to go. I didn't realize that so many people, I mean, 17 isn't huge, right? But when you have 17 people in front of you, you're like, oh boy, I have to do something with these people, right? And so it was a matter of, okay, I need to come up with something pretty quick. And so I sat down and I asked myself questions, what do they need to know, like to get started and that sort of thing. And so I talked about like the minimum down payment. I talked about the minimum credit score and like the length of job history and things like that, so that they knew, like, so they could see themselves in the information, basically like, okay, this is me, I can do this now, so I try to come at it from a place of education, even though, they're asking, I mean, I don't know if does that make sense?
Yep, yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, I don't know if you can tell, I am like so excited. And at the same time, I am like a little bit like, I don't know, shaky. I'm like giddy. I don't know. I'm so excited to be here with you guys and just answering questions and all of this. And, it's part like pretty much everyone who came to this event, unless you were already in my group, right? Like, I mean, then I literally invited you to the event, but the majority of the people who asked me about this event, it was all through reverse prospecting, right? I sat down, I explained what I had done, and people were like, okay, I need more information on this. And that is literally what I'm doing all the time, whether that is for agents, if that's for buyers, if that's for sellers, like I am providing something and they're coming to me saying, okay, I need to know more about this. And so, I was so nervous when I saw, like, because I created a spreadsheet with everyone's emails so that I could send out the recording and not miss anyone and all of that. And I was so nervous when I saw and realized that there were 250 people who wanted this information. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And so, but it means that that this is needed, right? And that's the thing. Like when you identify where the need is and who your people are, you can talk to those specific things, and then those people are going to come to you because you're talking directly to them. You know what they need, what they need to hear in order to make a move. And when you can open up their mind and show them, like for me, I love first-time home buyers. And when you can open up their mind and show them that it's a possibility for them, when they think a lot of times that they can't, their credit sucks, or they don't have enough money, and you show them down payment assistance, or, that they could buy with a 620 credit score, they're going like, oh, I didn't realize that. And I have people who have told me, like, I have horrible credit. And I'm like, okay, well, what's your credit score? And they tell me 680. And I'm sitting there going, okay, so you could buy a house. Let's go, And so people just don't know what they don't know. And they assume things because they've heard things from well-meaning family and friends, right? But it doesn't mean that that's their reality. Carol? I just love your smile.
Thank you. That's very kind. So I feel that attracting real estate agents is easy, I think, because we all want to know the secret sauce, right? What's the secret? And how do we attract more people? Where are you posting to attract buyers? And what are you saying?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So for one, it is mostly Facebook. I mean, like, everything is Facebook for me. That's where I feel comfortable. I have an Instagram, I have LinkedIn, but I don't feel comfortable there. So Facebook is my place. So I will go into Facebook groups, my own groups. Like, I have one for first-time home buyers. It's a local group. Like, it's not one of the big, like, nationwide first-time home buyer groups or something like that. I keep all of my buyer leads essentially in my Facebook group, so that I can keep talking to them, so that I can keep, like, sharing information with them, especially the ones who tell me my credit sucks, I need to save money, those things, because I know that they are kind of struggling in this mindset of, I mean, they may need help with credit, but some just think that they need help with credit, and so I want to keep talking to them and keep showing them that it's possible for them until they decide that it is. Also, I have some people in those groups that 3 years ago, they said they were going to work on their credit, right? And my thing is that I feel like all of these people are adults. I don't need to be, like, following up with them to say, how's your credit? How's it coming along? Like, I could, but I feel like that would be, maybe I'm against awkward conversations. I don't know, but it's kind of a thing where I'm like, okay, I know that you're an adult and I know that you're going to work on this when you feel you're ready. So I'm not going to push you and, like, chase you away because you're not doing what you said you wanted to do, right? Like, I'm not going to make you feel guilty about that. And so I just continue to talk to them in my Facebook group and add people, and sometimes I get, like, kind of snappy, I guess. And I'm like, okay, my favorite post that I've done that has, like, it's gotten attention every time I post it is one, and I'm sure you've all seen it, right? You're paying a mortgage no matter what. You just need to decide if it's your landlord's or your own. That one gets people every single time. They will DM me and say, okay, Corey, I know you're talking to me. This is whatever, but go ahead.
Okay, so that post, where are you posting that? In other people's Facebook groups?
That one I will post in my own Facebook group for buyers. Not to say that I don't post it other places also, kind of depending on my mood. If I'm up for, like, sometimes I need a giggle, right? And that post always makes me giggle because I'm like, okay, I'm being direct, right? Like, so, anyway, so that's kind of, I do go into other people's groups. When I do that though, like, I'm always worried about, I'm worried about getting kicked out for advertising or selling, right? And so, and not to say that I haven't been kicked out of groups, because for sure it's happened. But what I kind of do is I really approach it always from a place of offering value, helping or needing help, because I'm not I'm literally not trying to sell anyone anything. Like if they decide they want something, they can come to me and say, okay, I want more information. So I'm never approaching it like, you know, I want to sell you something. And I don't know if it's that saying my mom always used to say about, you know, you catch more flies with honey or whatever the saying is. But basically that's the way I look at it, right? Like I'm trying to bring people into me, and I want it to be their idea. Once it's their idea, like they're in, right? Like it's not it's not scary anymore because they're the ones who made the decision to talk to me. Awesome. I feel bad, guys, because I'm not really in the chat so much, but okay. I'm gonna go through here again real quick. I feel that there's so many people who are Mike Ferry and all the people, right? Everyone wants, I don't know. Everyone wants to figure this out, right? Everyone is like, okay, how do I do this? And there's so many people out there saying, I've got you and this is how we're going to do it. But not everyone feels the same, right? Not everyone is like I'm going to pound the pavement kind of person, hustle, 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 and go find them. And I'm definitely not one of those people. So, okay. Anyone else, you guys can certainly hop in and ask your questions. I'm trying to go through these, but I feel so distracted that the chat is just really not working for me right now. But feel free to unmute yourself and come on. No one. All right, go ahead, Carol.
You saw that I had something to say.
I saw it and I love it.
Well, hold on, I'm gonna cough. Hang on.
Oh, no worries.
So I don't,
Oh, shoot.
I've been a real estate agent for a short period of time.
Okay.
But I've been in the industry for a really long time. So I was an escrow officer here in Southwest Washington. So I understand the business. It's that client attraction piece. And I'm not necessarily, I have a vibrant aura about me, I guess. But I don't necessarily enjoy talking to people.
Right.
So, and I want to give value, you know, reading the Ninja Selling System and the Go Giver, you know, giving value is 100% something that I enjoy doing. The first time home buyers that was really kind of my niche as well in my escrow world.
Okay.
I loved my first time home buyers because I got to tell them how to get mortgage insurance off their payment and, you know, making how the system worked. I loved doing all of that. My problem is trying to find those people before they're in a transaction, right? So I'm worried about posting and how to post and creating groups. I just don't know how to attract to build that group. And once you decide to build a group, your own Facebook group, I feel like I need to have content in there already so it doesn't look like it's a real group or a new group.
Yeah.
Is that a concern? Is that what people are? I don't know. I've never built a group before. So
I feel like a lot of people that I've talked with have felt that way. For me, yes, I would like to have some content in there, right? Like when I start something new. However, it's okay. Like, you know, say you're growing with me. Let's figure this out together. What questions do you have? You know, that sort of thing as you're inviting people. It doesn't you don't have to know everything to get started, right? It is a matter of literally grabbing someone's hand and pulling them forward. You could be just one step in front of them and help someone else. So it's not that it has to be that you know, already have everything figured out. You're still working on this. It's a new group, you know, people are going to understand that. I think that a lot of times we're harder on ourselves than other people are. So, you know, I think that that's some of, you know, maybe what's happening there, you know, just with those questions that you're asking, right? I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it, because it's definitely what, it's the same way that I would feel. And I expect probably a lot of other people would feel, but it's us being in our brains a bit. I would say, thank you so much, you guys. Okay. So I would say that one of the things to kind of do is to go into other people's groups, especially the big first-time homebuyer groups, and read the questions that are being asked. That is a place of like gold. Read what people are telling them too, because that will give you like, it'll give you something to talk about, you know, because you can say, oh gosh, you know, I've been reading people giving this kind of advice, you know, and it's not the advice that I would give, you know, or whatever the situation is, but it gives you content. Okay. Hi, Jose.
You know, I totally understand how Carol feels, because that's the way I felt before. Like, oh my God, I don't know what to say or how to say it, or right. But what I found was it's actually our subconscious mind messing with us. So here's the answer to that, Carol. Go to answerthepublic.com and you will never run out of content on what to say or how to say it. That's number one. Number two, I'm using the AI, and I asked the AI, hey, what are first time buyers looking for? And man, this thing is amazing. It'll tell you exactly what they're looking for. So then you can write content from here as well.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome. And you mentioned 2 books, and I want to kind of comment real quick. Okay, so there was this book that I read one time, and it was called High Hanging Fruit, I believe. And you know, what it talked about was basically that everyone is trying to get the low hanging fruit. They're trying to get the ones who are ready right now. And the high hanging fruit are the ones who maybe haven't even decided that they can do something yet, right? Like they're maybe thinking about it. They're, you know, doing these things, but they're not there yet. And that's the people that I feel like I'm going after in doing Q&A sessions, in putting them in my Facebook group, like just when they're kind of just starting, because I'm not looking for people who are already pre-approved. I'm looking for people that I can show the way. So it's kind of just about looking for and knowing who is it that you're wanting to talk to. If you're wanting to talk to first-time home buyers, you need to sit down and ask yourself, like, what are they struggling with? Maybe it's just renters, you know, that sort of thing. But what are they struggling with? What preconceived notions do they have about this topic, you know, that sort of thing? What are they being told? And using those other Facebook groups, and as Jose said, AI, it'll give you kind of some insight. But once you have that insight, like completely run with it, and don't be afraid, like do not be afraid to go on Zoom and talk. Excuse me. You know.
Corey, can I ask what your price point is in your area?
I had a couple other agents who are in my area, but I don't see them now. I think that what I read last was we're probably about 300 to 350 is the average.
Yeah, that's definitely a first-time home buyer with the interest rates where they are. My area, so I'm in Clark County, Washington, and my area is quickly becoming not first-time home buyer friendly any longer.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Which is
Um,
hard when that's your avatar and that's the person you want to serve.
Exactly. But maybe showing them, you know, what's realistic at this point is also, you know, something that will help them. I mean, if they're coming in and they're like they're making a wage that's, you know, a $200,000 house, you know, maybe it's about educating them to improve their situation for the future, you know, or that sort of thing. I mean, it's just knowing who you're trying to talk to and then kind of, you know, figuring it out. But knowing your market is amazing because it kind of gives you that insight. And, you know, like I get all the time, I get people who come to me and say basically like, I'm on Social Security, you know, and I want to buy a house and this sort of thing. And it's not that they can't, maybe, right? Like it all depends. But my first thought is always like, oh crap, you know, it's probably not going to be possible. But I've had some people who it was possible for because, you know, it wasn't just the Social Security income or whatever. But some people, they just have this idea in their head, you know, I really can't do this because of whatever. So kind of talking to those points and answering those questions before they're asked is something that is going to attract people to you. Janet, what do you have? Oh, I don't see where you went.
No, I'm here. Can you
Oh,
hear
there
me?
you go. Okay, yes, I can see you now.
Thank you so much for extending the invitation. I appreciate this. I'm a new agent and I'm trying to, you know, gather as much information as I possibly can because it is overwhelming. I got through the book part, you know, the study, the testing all went great. And now I'm just like, I feel like a fish out of water. I don't know where to start. My broker, I'm with a private brokerage group in Connecticut. They're very good at providing us with, like, we have our own in-house, we can design our own brochures, we can design our own social media posts, we can design a lot of things that we would need for, you know, really marketing ourselves. And I'm being told, at least by my mentor, that, and he's been in the game, he was the owner, so he's been in the game a long time. So I think he forgets like what it was like to start out, because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I sit here day after day, I go in the office and then I go to the training sessions that they have for me, but it's almost like there's an assumption of, well, you already know how to do this, but you don't. So what are your top 3 things for a new agent to do? I'm in the process of designing a mailer, a brochure. You know, one of the big things that they tell us, or at least my broker has, that, you know, if you send out like 3 in a 3-month or 4-month period of time, you'll get your name out there. There's a lot of realtors in my area though. So how do you, you know, how do I find those clients? You know, I thought I knew a lot of people, but apparently I don't know a lot of people. So.
Well, I think that the first thing that comes to mind is, you know, you need to have conversations, right? And so I was just coaching someone on this yesterday, and basically it is not about just calling people, you know what I mean? And that sort of thing. Like, it is about getting into their world, I guess, you know, and having them want to talk to you about it. And for me, that really, exactly, someone's saying in the comments, relationships, it's all of those things. It's kind of making people comfortable with you. And so I would advise you kind of the same as I have here, right? Like, just learn what you can, think about who you would like to serve. If you don't know who you would like to serve, start thinking about, you know, what calls you, you know, is it first-time home buyers? In my office, I often tell my people to start with first-time home buyers because you're kind of learning along with them, right? As a seller, they've already gone through the process and they kind of already have a, like, okay, this is how it's going to work. But with a first-time home buyer, you're kind of learning with them a little bit. So it feels a little bit easier, I guess. And, you know, one of the things that I told someone yesterday was to do like a quick video, very generic, and just like a hi, I was thinking about you. I haven't talked to you in a while, that sort of thing. Hope everything's going great in your world or something like that. Send it to like 5-10 people a day. Don't say I'm in real estate. Like, let it be organic that comes, ask them how they're doing, ask them what they're doing. They're going to reciprocate that and come back and ask you the same thing. And then you can start to talk about it. But I don't say like, just go all in, I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong. You can if you're more direct than me, but talking to people is going to be the key.
I mean, I've reinvented myself a couple times. So I worked in the city in New York for 8.5 years. So I have friends and relationships there. That's not going to help me, except we did have a lot of people move out here during COVID from the city. I'm wondering now if they're going to want to move back, because they bought houses at ridiculous, stupid numbers, like ridiculous numbers. I should have gotten into this business a couple of years ago, but and then I worked for our town, which is a really small town. It's in a very nice area, but like we literally have one post office, a gas station, and general store. So it's not like we have a chamber of commerce and there's lots of things going on. So I was thinking like they're taking a vote today at the school for our budget, for the annual budget. I did work for the town. I was the equivalent of a mayor's assistant for 8 years. So I know a lot of people. I don't know a lot of people like in my content, on my contact lists, but I could certainly get them in my, make a separate list of like everybody in town. It's like 7,000 people or whatever, but I don't know, like, cell numbers to send them, like, do you send an email, do you send a cell, that kind of thing. Do I go up to the vote today and just hand out my card? Like, I don't know, like, there's a big commuting area from, people that commute into New York from our area. Should I go to the train station and sit out there with, I don't know, muffins or, like, I have no clue how to do this.
I would love to sit down with you and kind of talk and maybe kind of work through some of this stuff. It may be the best way, because I think that we need to kind of create a plan for you, and what you're comfortable with. One of the things that I have, okay. So one of the things that I do is I also coach agents, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, and I am very happy to help other agents because I didn't have a lot of help when I first got started. And as someone had said in the comments, it feels like everyone's hands are in our pockets, and I get that. Everyone does want a piece of you. Like, honestly, I'm not going to lie. It feels like even our brokers, right? I am a broker, so don't count me in that conversation because it's not me. But a lot of brokers, like, they'll take on new agents for those first, the people they know, for that first couple deals. And then, it's like, I heard someone say, and I don't remember who it was exactly, but I was on a conversation or on a call yesterday or the day before, and someone was telling me, basically that the, how did they say it? That the broker wouldn't even talk to the newer agents kind of until they had kind of started to show themselves, like, and I guess for me, I'm different. So that's not, how I figure things out. It has to be helping people. It has to be like guiding them. And so, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. It just kind of is, it's important to find someone who's willing to help you just grow, because not everyone is interested in that. Some people are interested in what you're going to do for them. The way that I look at things is when I'm talking to people, I want to know like what's in it for them. because I want people to see what's in it for them, because that's what they're looking for, right? And so, even for me, like with coaching and that sort of thing, it's kind of the same thing still. It's a matter of what's in it for you. What are you going to take away from this? And I think that that's what you need to look at for everyone. Anytime you're okay, I'm going to back up. I'm going to talk real quick about my biggest pet peeve, right? My biggest pet peeve, and I think Jose knows because we were just talking about this, is when people say, and don't, like, I'm going to have you raise your hand afterwards, and I'm pretty sure everyone's going to say like, okay, yes, I've done that. But everyone says, if you're thinking of buying or selling, call me, right? Like, raise your hand. Have you done it? Okay. So it is one of those things that, like, we're not giving people a reason to call us. Like, we're not saying, this is how I'm going to help you. Like, this is what's in it for you. People aren't going to call us off of a billboard because we said, if you're thinking of buying or selling, call me, right? Like, that's about me, not about them. Does that make sense? And I know that doesn't necessarily help you yet, Janet. I think that, I'm more than happy to sit down and have a conversation with you though. And absolutely, Jose. And, I love this, Jose. I love this. So basically it is about what you're offering. Jose is an amazing example. I don't know if you guys saw his chat right now, but it's, what are you doing? Like, it's like doing this 5,000 savings guaranteed, or I'll pay you $1,000 at close of escrow. Like, that's something that's going to get someone's attention, right? They're going to be like, oh, no one else is offering, no one else is brave enough to stand behind their results and offer something like that. You know what I mean? Like, when you have that, and Jose, maybe you can come on and talk. How many times have you paid $1,000?
Can I be honest? Never. So the reason is because that's just a hook to get the buyer, especially at an open house, to get them to do business through me, right? And then I sit down with them and have a game plan on what we're going to do different than the average agent. And then I'd explain to them the $5,000 savings guarantee works like this. For example, if I can save you $5,000 negotiating, right, buying this home, then yes, I'll give you $1,000 at close of escrow. However, the key is, of course, that home needs to pay me 3% commission.
Right. And
does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. I love it. And there's I guess I'm just saying that this is kind of the important piece, is always to be looking at what's in it for them, because that's what they're looking at. If you're not showing them that piece, it's just another, like, it's just another thing. It's another scroll, right? Like, they're scrolling past you, they're moving on. How can I help you? I saw you just unmuted. Oh, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your first name. Mila?
Milagritos?
Oh, okay.
Yes, people call me Millie or Mila.
Okay.
I didn't understand about the $5,000 that he offers $5,000.
Yes, so I do offer a $5,000 guarantee when they buy through me. But the key is component. Remember, I don't know where you at in what state, but I'm in Los Angeles. The average commission is 2% here. That's what everyone's putting.
Real quick, we don't want to talk about average anything,
Okay.
because
All
we're,
right.
you know,
Sorry.
but there's
But
a
that's the
certain
average.
percentage. Yes, there's
Yeah,
a certain percentage.
So my goal is to try to, of course, if I'm going to provide this value to the buyer, I want to show them homes at a higher commission, basically.
And they're
Well,
kind
you
of
know,
agreeing.
what is happening to me, it's that I notice the clients are very knowledgeable right now. So if they're looking for inexpensive homes, they will start looking on Zillow, and they will choose even though I've been sending them homes, they look for Zillow. So I mean, do you offer $5,000 so to go and work with you? I just don't get that part. I'm sorry. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I'm gonna put my email in the chat so you understand how it works.
Yeah.
But when someone says, hey, I see, that's the biggest problem. And I think, Corey, we talked about this, and I don't want to take too much time because I want everybody to be hearing this. But listen, everyone can go online and look at any home. What's going to differentiate you is going to say, hey, how about if I can send you an on-market, off-market home, unlisted home that's not on Google, that's not on Zillow or any other website? Would that interest you, Mr. Buyer? What do you think the answer is going to be?
Yes.
Exactly.
So again, I'm gonna say that one more time. Unlisted, off market, and of course they cannot get a list because it's what? It's off market, it doesn't exist. But the point is that's just a hook to get that buyer to work through you.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's one thing that when I advertised my buyers, you know, I then had a list of off-market properties that were available. And so, you know, it's kind of a cycle, right? You start with one thing and then you kind of end up with off-market properties. And then
So,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I have an off-market property
Okay.
right now at this very moment. So
Okay.
what should I do? Should I send an email to each of my possible buyers? What do I do?
I would say yes, do that.
Okay.
And I would also say, depending on your MLS rules and everything regarding off-market properties, I would also say, you know, maybe offer a free list or a free, like I would probably go about it by saying, on Facebook, wherever, you know, would you like a free list of off-market properties? Or I have access to some off-market properties. Let me know if you're interested or something like that. Or even be more specific and say, okay, I have an off-market again, depending on your rules in your MLS, but I have an off-market property that is X, Y, and Z, you know, let me know if you're interested.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
All right. So I know that we've gone over. I was only planning to be here for an hour because I didn't want, you know, to take up too much of your guys' time. However, I'm more than happy to stay here if there's more questions. And again, I know I have just kind of missed the stuff in the chat because my brain is not like, I'm not doing good with reading and it just, it feels like pressure. Anyway, so go ahead.
Ori, I've been with my license for over 5 years.
Okay.
But I was always door knocking and talking to people. And I didn't like making phone calls. Sometimes I don't know, it's something in me that I don't feel comfortable.
Yep.
But door knocking, it was very easy for me. But after the 2020, I am afraid to door knock. You know, people are so afraid and I'm just don't want to do that anymore. So it feels for me like I'm just starting. I don't know. I just feel like Danielle is your name, like Janet. I just don't know what to do, how to start again, how to go back and start doing business. I will love to talk to you more and maybe give me some coaching classes. Please connect with me and let me know how can I access your coaching lessons.
I would love that. Let me put it in the chat real quick. I'm going to put my Calendly link and feel free. Hold on, chat pop up. There we are. Okay, so I'm putting it in the chat. Oh, whoops. I sent it to someone direct. Hold on. Everyone in meeting. There we go. And then, you know, feel free to book a call with me and we can talk about what it looks like as far as coaching and all of that and what, you know, how I can help you. Okay. Okay, Catherine, I'm here. What do you got?
Yeah. So quick question on your, basically like I have a buyer post. All of those responses you got, did you get actual listings out of that you put on the MLS, or was it just that you tried to connect them up together?
Well, at first it was a matter of connecting them. Then it was, some of the people are in different points in the process. So I'm still working with some of them to get them to the point of listing, but they're, you know, cleaning things out, decluttering, doing, you know, repairs, those kinds of things. So they were kind of in various stages of being ready. One guy, he was like, okay, I want to sell to your buyer. And I went out and I showed my buyer. And then the next day he listed with another agent. And I was like, okay, well, you know, it happens, right? So it's not like every single person wanted to list with me specifically, but they did want to sell to my buyer.
Perfect.
Is that
Thanks.
helpful? Okay, great. Rigoberto, how can I help you?
Hi, Corey.
Hi there.
I have a question. Do you make your own post, or you pay somebody else to make the marketing on social media? Or and the other question is, do you pay advertising on social media?
So, okay. Like I said, you might not have heard me, but I'm cheap. So, and it's not really cheap. It's just that I think it's more of a control thing. I like to be in control, really. So I will post for myself. I don't pay anyone to do any of those things. Like, it is me doing it always. So I kind of look at it as this posting is my lead generation. So you know, some other people may spend 3 or 4 hours a day cold calling. I may spend, I don't know, an hour in the morning thinking of what I'm going to post for the day and thinking about what it is I'm going to do to attract people. And honestly, I kind of go about it in the way of like, how do I feel today? Like, what do I want to talk about? And then I kind of create from that place. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right. So,
Hi, Corey.
yes.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
A lot of us do Canva, use Canva for making stills or something. But I just want to tell the agents that be careful when they use a picture to have it your own picture or something you may have taken, or go onto websites that sell free stock photos, that they are not somebody's property. You know, we can easily download any photo from online. Just don't do it. As things have gotten very easy for us to do different things, we also have to watch out our actions, that nobody comes to us for sizing anybody else's stuff online.
Right. And that's true. And, you know, the way that I look at Canva, I don't know, because I'm paying for it. I always pretty much, you know, I always look at it as since I'm paying for it, I'm expecting that it's content that I can use.
Yeah, you're right. I don't pay for it, so I go looking for photos, and I work for Fathom Realtors. They literally have a link on one of our websites, stock photos.
Gotcha.
So then put the subject, what I'm looking for, and then pull out a photo that's okay with everybody. You know, some photographers or somebody may have given permission to use that photo, and then use those rather than go on the website and just pick whatever.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So you can search for Creative Commons. So photos, you can search images on Google.
Yeah, you can search for images on Google.
What you're looking for are Creative Commons. So once you filter by Creative Commons, then all of those photos are available for free use and you don't have to worry about?
No, they can charge them. Many websites charge for their photos. Are you telling me, or like, are you asking me?
You can use Unsplash. If you use Unsplash or Pexels, they set it up so all the photos are free use, even for commercial use. You can modify them. The
Yeah.
only thing you can't do is create a competing website.
Okay. Catherine, did you have another question?
No, sorry, I forgot to lower the hand thing.
No worries, no worries. I just didn't want to not get to you if you had another one.
No, I was distracted.
No worries, no worries. Well, you know, guys, I enjoy this. I don't know if you can tell I'm also a talker, right? So I can sometimes get off on a tangent and whatever, but I really, I'm here to help people. And, you know, I absolutely, we'll see you later, Carol. I really am here to help. So if it's something that you are like, okay, this is different and this is something that I want to know more about, like I said, I'm more than happy to hop on a strategy call with you and kind of walk you through it. If it's something that you're interested in to coach with me, what I do is we work together and we have weekly calls for 3 months at a time. And basically I'm just here to help. And it's not, like I said in the beginning, I'm not here to do like a big sales pitch or anything like that. It's just not who I am. Although I have people on here who would love for me to do absolutely that. And I see you and I love you for it. And I appreciate you. I just want people to feel comfortable in doing what they're doing and make like a difference in their lives, right? I want it to be something that is easier for you to do, and it doesn't have to be just all of the things you hate. It can be things that you like to do. Okay, so someone asked in the comments, what is the cost of coaching? And I'm happy to share that. So what I charge is basically, like I said, it's 3 months at a time. And basically it is $1,500. We'll meet each week for 45 minutes or more, kind of depending on what's going on in your world. And basically we will go through starting from where you are to getting you into like actually having business. Basically, I meet everyone where they are because I don't feel like everything is a one size fits all, you know, kind of a thing. So we start where you are and then build from there. And that's just kind of how I like to do it, because honestly, it's not one of those things like I've worked with different coaches and stuff, and they are like, okay, do X, do Y, do Z, and you'll have business. But like Janet was saying, you know, there are things that you feel like you need before you can get to that point. You know, you don't know what you don't know. And so I feel like that's kind of what I like to bring to the table, is like helping you from the beginning, basically from where you are. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Good. All right. Well, do you guys have any more questions for me?
All good for now.
Okay. And you did, Janet, or you were saying bye? Okay. All right. Well, I am very happy to talk to all of you guys. Like I said, please feel free to reach out to me. If you're not in my Facebook group, be sure to join that. It is, actually, I'll put it in the comments as well. I don't know that everyone is in my Facebook group who attended today. So, and I should have probably done that a little bit earlier, but it is what it is. So, okay, here's the group just in case. Okay. So, feel free to join the group, and, you know, I try to do trainings and stuff as I can. I try to do, you know, Zooms and help other agents, and it's all I mean, it's all just me giving back because quite frankly, I didn't have that when I got started, and I want other people to have it easier than I did. Go ahead, show me.
Looking at your Facebook page, and there is the booth that you set up, right?
Yes,
Oh,
that's the
very
booth.
interesting. Thank you so much.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, guys, I appreciate all of you who have been here and hung out with me. I am happy to answer any more questions if you guys have them. If you're good, we can, call it a day, and, but certainly if you have anything else, feel free to unmute and come on. All right.
Can we steal some of your posts?
I-
I like the one about the tequila.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I honestly, anytime I post, I want other people to use them, because I know, if I find it funny, someone else is going to too, right? So, oh, you're muted. Oh, it's not unmuted.
Thank you so much. I have to go. I have a therapy to go. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. All right,
you.
everyone. Have a great day. Okay. Bye.